Where can you see Broadway's brightest light? Wednesday, Thursday nights, drunk in a dive. They're friends with Rye. He's a Broadway guy. He's your Broadway entertainment BFF. It's Lives with Rye and Friends. Broadway. He's a bundle of joy and happiness. It must be here for you. He's a theater nerd who will share a word with a Broadway star or two. Our guests will have you on the floor, or fame and empty and many more. Rye Myers, the gay Rye Studios, the Broadway and entertainment BFF is live with Rye and Friends. On Broadway.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Live with Rye Friends on Broadway. Let's give it up for that theme song, everyone. It was so awesome. Thank you, thank you. Yes, so you may realize that this is a different location. First off, for those just tuning in, I'm Rye Myers, your Broadway and Entertainment BFF. But I am here at the Broadway Makers Marketplace, brand new. This is the new home, and tonight's our special preview show. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for those tuning in at home and for those here as well. So this is the Broadway Makers Marketplace here at the Turnstyle Underground Market in Columbus Circle. We have over 40 plus vendors with unique handmade items that you can't get anywhere else. And tonight's the preview show, and then every Sunday starting at around 6:15, I'll be here doing my show. It's going to be a hell of a time. And also tonight's sponsor is the Little Prince on Broadway. I'm very excited. We'll be giving away free tickets to that, which is super exciting, and I'm thrilled to have that. So before we get into today's show, there we go. This is a little bit of news, Mike. I want to go over some Broadway news with everyone. I don't know if you heard, but some exciting news. Kinky Boots is actually coming back off Broadway, and that will be starting on July 26th and opening August 25th at Stage 42. I'm super excited. This kind of came out of nowhere that Kinky Boots is coming back. So I'm really excited about that. And Jerry Mitchell, who was the original director, will be directing that again, and it's the same producing team. So super excited about that. And then tomorrow, Beetlejuice returns to Broadway, which I am very excited about, as is most of the rest of the Broadway community. And it will be opening at the Marquee Theater. We also are welcoming Birthday Candles, which has its official opening night on Sunday. And Take Me Out, starring Tyler Ferguson and Jesse Williams, officially opened on Broadway on Monday. And finally, Classic Stage Company announced its one-night-only benefit concert of Assassins, featuring the complete off-Broadway cast on May 9th at 7 p.m. in the Stephen Sondheim Theater. So that's going to be really exciting. Get your tickets now. They're now on sale. And tickets are pretty expensive, but it goes to a great cause. And with that, I'm very excited to welcome my very special guest, first guest here at the new location, Broadway Makers Marketplace. Please help me welcome the incredible Travis Moser. Woo!
Hello.
Hi, Travis.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, my pleasure. I was saying to you earlier, and everyone at home and here saying, your outfit is fucking
You have to give the people what they want.
I mean, so much sparkle, so much gold, so much glitter. I love it. I love it. Do you have several outfits like this?
I do. This is kind of my, like I said earlier, like my Elaine Stritch, like blouse and tights. This is my version of that. So it's, I have a million like secret jackets. I have a million, neggings, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, this is my uniform.
I love it. Performance uniform. That is great. So, Travis, tell me, how did you get started in performing? Was this something that you always did? Was it something you liked as a kid? How did you get into performing?
So yeah, I started, obviously like everybody else, like high school community theater, regional productions, and things. And then I went to school for musical theater and communications at Point Carter, which is a big musical theater school. And then from there I moved to New York, and I realized like during college that I loved performance, I loved singing, but I didn't necessarily like love the like like being an active musical theater part of it. I like the more like concert cabaret, being myself, telling stories part of it. So I wanted to work in theater and also be able to perform and whatnot. So I started working at an advertising agency for Broadway called Spotco. And so I did that during the day and then perform my solo shows at night. So from I went to say like 2012 to now, I performed at every like cabaret or concert venue except for the Carlisle, and which is like a goal of mine. And I love kind of like being myself, telling stories, telling people why songs resonate with me, and highlighting songs and artists that I feel are important.
Well, I mean, but you've certainly played everywhere. I mean, the Carlisle, I'm sure, is coming next because you've done everywhere from Birdland, you've done, I mean, every big cabaret event you can think of, you've done. And what an exciting way that you've gotten to do it like that and bring your shows. We're going to talk more about that. And for all of those watching, I just want to make everyone aware this is our first show, so if there are any technical kinks or anything, we're working it out as it comes, so just bear with us. But I am so appreciative of everyone tuning in. But as always, this is live theater, so I just always want to make everyone aware. Now, how did you first get into wanting to create a live show, to do like a cabaret show? What was sort of the inspiration for that?
So I remember during college, a few of my friends and I came to New York for just like a random trip. And we went to the old Feinstein's, which was at the Regency Hotel, and we saw Betty Buckley there. And I had never seen cabaret only existed in a certain amount of cities, so it's like New York, Chicago, a few places in LA. So I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania originally, so there's a lot of cabaret going on there. But so we came and I saw it, and I just love the medium. It's something I hadn't experienced before, something that, it was Betty Buckley being herself, telling stories, connecting to songs, connecting with the audience, and it just like blew me away. And I thought, instead of doing whatever you can, like trying to like audition, do whatever, it's like you can create your own. And I say that to everybody. It's like you can always create your own opportunities. And even like this show and with my shows and whatnot, it's like it's all about, to me, like creating your own opportunities, and from there a million things can happen. So from that cabaret show at Feinstein was really like kind of got me started on like even thinking to myself that I could kind of like put a show together, be a musical director, and kind of come up with something. So that's what came up with my mind.
Well, and you've done so many great shows and put so many together. We actually met. I interviewed you for my website, Rye Myers. 2019, it was a print interview. You all can check that out on my website. When you were doing your Linda Ronstadt show, I believe it was called Just One Look, Songs of Linda Ronstadt. That was a very popular show. Where did the idea come from to do Linda Ronstadt? I mean, there's so many composers and writers. Where did that idea come from, Linda?
Well, I always say that like all my shows basically come from Columbia House Record Club or Music Club, where it's like you would like, it was in the back of the magazine where like you could pick 10 songs for a penny, and they would send you 10 CDs for a penny, and they would send you the songs or send you the CDs, and so from there I would pick like, I was mostly familiar with musical theater and whatnot, and from there I saw like the 80s cover of Linda Ronstadt with like the sharp blush and whatnot, and I was like, okay, I'm this. And so like I picked that one, and from there I listened to the Cry Like a Rage from the Wind album, which has like the Aaron Neville duets, like I Don't Know Much and all that on it. And from there I went down a rabbit hole with Linda Ronstadt, and like she was musical theater, she was standard, she was pop, she was rock, she was country, and it exposed me to like a lot of different writers and different people through Linda Ronstadt. And she kind of was like fearless in what she wanted to do. And even though she's like an international star, I don't feel that she really gets her due for what she did for the music industry. So even though she's like an international star, it's like, to me, she's still like a little bit underrated. So it was like a chance to kind of, and at that time she was at your research with a documentary that was like a Grammy winner and whatnot. So I got together with my musical director, who would be amazing. And basically, we put the show together, and it was, it was just a way to honor her and everything that.
Well, an honor her you certainly did. She's a legend in this industry. I learned about her years ago. Actually, a funny story. I grew up on Oprah. Actually, she did this whole like episode where she walks her dog and she did my friend played. But actually, over the quarantine, I was exploring so many more music and listening to so many new ones. One of the new ones I know of, not new, but it's so easy to fall in love. And I wish they did anything a little differently. She could have held it out. She could have done that. Like, I love when a song does have no music again, and then here comes like
Right.
I wish she could have done a few more verses like that. It would have been great, but she's very talented. So we have a few people here in the audience. Would love to hear who you are. So, what's your name?
Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey. Where are you from?
From New York.
Welcome. Thank you. Is this your first time here at the Makers Marketplace?
It is, yeah.
Thank you. Well, happy to be here.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike. And first time at the Broadway Makers Marketplace?
Yeah.
And are you from here? You live in the city?
New York, yeah.
New York. Welcome. Amazing. And what's your name, miss?
Carmela.
Carmela. Is this your first time at the Broadway Makers Marketplace?
Oh, I'm visiting.
Oh, amazing. Well, thanks for stopping by. This is Live with Rye Friends On Broadway, only free Broadway talk show here in the city. And I have Travis Moser with me tonight, our special guest. Let's give him another round of applause. Woo! Again, as I said, tonight is sponsored by The Little Prince. And before we go on, I do just want to read a little something from The Little Prince. I actually saw the show last night, and during trivia, I'm actually going to be giving away some free tickets. But I wanted to read a little something from them. As sponsors, they give you a little something to read. This spring, see the unforgettable story becomes unforgettable Broadway show. Based on the classic book that continues to touch millions, this stunning new production will transport you to a magical world unlike anything you've ever seen before. A fantasy of imaginative storytelling that combines theatrical stagecraft with aerial artistry, soaring music, and electrifying choreography. The Little Prince is a spectacular, immersive experience you will never forget. The Little Prince is now playing on Broadway through August 14th. Recommended for all ages 5 and up. Don't miss it. Purchase tickets. You can go to thelittleprince.broadway.com. Definitely don't miss it. If you love Cirque du Soleil, love The Little Prince. Very, very good. I saw it last night, and what's going on at the Broadway Theater, I mean, I don't know how they do it. It's something.
So you saw it last night?
I saw it last night. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
If you love that sort of Cirque du Soleil dance, it's really good and done very well. And I didn't even know about The Little Prince. So
Yeah.
Did you know the book?
I knew there's actually a movie version of The Little Prince that has like Bob Fosse and Johnny McKechnie and whatnot. So I've seen that.
Right.
And but I'm intrigued by everything I've seen about it. It looks like really
Amazing. All right, well, back to you then. Back to you. I have to with that, we're getting the sponsors out of the way. So August 22nd, you are debuting at City Winery with special guest, the incredible Tony winner Judy Kay. Oh my gosh, that show is called Someday Soon, the songs of Judy Collins. So where did this idea come from? Are tickets on sale? It's all the good stuff.
So basically it's another one, my long flight of like international stars that I feel are underrated, just like Linda Ron said. So Judy Collins is someone that just released her first ever album of all original music at the age of 82, and I just saw her actually at Town Hall in December, and she does like I don't know, like 200 dates a year, like for me, and she's incredible. She sounds better than she did in like the 60s and 70s, and she is just like a wonder to behold. She writes her own music. She's the one that discovered Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell. So she recorded. She's the original person who recorded Both Sides Now. After Joni Mitchell caught her on the front end and paid for her on the front end before Joni Mitchell was anybody. And so she's
for those at home, Joni Mitchell. If you just know Broadway, Joni Mitchell, look her up. She's an incredible singer. She's not Broadway, but she's incredible. So look her up.
Yeah, so very theatrical and things, right? And she's incredible. She also that's one of my first exposures to Sondheim, because Judy Collins recorded the big pop hit version of Santa Claus. So that was Sondheim's first Grammy win for her version of Santa Claus. So I saw her in concert with my mom when I was little, and she talked about how she was friends with Hal Prince and Jonathan Tunick to orchestrate her version of Santa Claus. And it was Sondheim's first hit on the charts and his first Grammy for her version of Santa Claus. So I thought that this would be a great way to sing Broadway, to sing pop, to sing folk and country, and then get like kind of a grand dame of the theater to do, Send in the Clouds. So it was just like another way to kind of highlight, one of these amazing women in the music industry.
Well, I mean, amazing she is. I mean, that is really incredible. And speaking of Sondheim, I mean, you did a tribute to him in 2020. You did an album, so many people. Yeah, the Sondheim sessions, and you did that in 2020. Now, was that obviously it's a honor? Was that in the midst of quarantine? Was that before lockdown? And where? And I mean, obviously, Sondheim is Sondheim, but why Sondheim?
So basically, like during lockdown, like everybody was doing like virtual performances for galas and benefits and whatnot. So I got asked to do a couple Sondheim performances that they wanted me to film for a Pittsburgh CLO like gala benefit concert. And so I needed those professionally recorded. So I reached out to Drew Woodley, my musical director, and he recorded several tracks for me to like kind of perform to. And after I listened to them, I thought I should make an amazing album. And these songs I selected kind of tell my story of how I felt the last 6 months of working through the lyrics of Sondheim. So it started as just me doing benefit performances for virtual galas and benefits and stuff like that. And then from there we kind of worked it into an EP and album. And so the 5 songs on it represent each month at that point of what I was feeling through the quarantine, through the pandemic, and through the lyrics of Sondheim. So it's in a specific order for that reason. It starts with Broadway Baby because, like I said, I work for Spotco, which is a Broadway advertising agency, and then it kind of goes through your relationships with how your friends change through the pandemic, and things fall away, things come to you. So that's kind of how that album came about. It was originally just for benefit performance, and then we decided this would make a great EP, and Playbill covered it, and it kind of took off from there. And I've been performing those songs, and the album's been such a joy. And then obviously we lost Sondheim and this year, so it made it even more poignant that we got great.
And do you have a favorite Sondheim show that is your favorite?
I would probably say I have to pick a couple. Follies is definitely probably my favorite.
Oh.
And then, of course, I love Gypsy, which I don't really consider a Sondheim show per se, even though he did do the lyrics. But I would say Follies is probably my favorite, followed by maybe Sweeney Todd. And then, I hear rumors of a full-scale production of Sweeney Todd coming out, so I'm excited about that. Because I need to see a full orchestra.
Yes.
And I love the pared down versions, but we've seen enough pared down versions.
Did you see the one downtown?
I did not. I missed that one.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah. Did anyone see that? Did you see? See the one in 2019? You saw it? It was so
I heard it was amazing.
I think it's now Ars Nova, but I forget what it was called prior, but it was in this church, and it was immersive. We were at these picnic tables, and probably where Michael and Jeffrey are is where where Sweetie and Slither were, and you were watching them, and it was really interesting. It made it more really, because it was, they splashed something on someone. It was really interesting. I saw you there with Carol and Carmela.
That's amazing.
The immersive is really good.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, so you've performed your cabaret shows, as you said, some of the biggest venues in the city. And, I would love to know, how do you keep each show fresh? That's something I always, as a performer, I always marvel at how they keep performances fresh and everything. So how do you keep your shows fresh for each one you do?
I basically feel like I have to really, it can't be just it has to be something that I'm obsessed with.
Right.
So right now, with Linda Ronstadt, I went down a rabbit hole and became obsessed with her. I'm obsessed right now with Judy Collins. And I have to have that level of obsession to be able to keep it fresh for as long as it takes to put the show together, to rehearse the show, and then perform the show. And then once you're putting something that big together, you want to be able to do it several times and hopefully several venues. Mm-hmm. So you want it to be fresh. You have to, for me, I have to have a level of, I think it's the people that I pick that keep it fresh, because Judy Collins covers so much ground. I said, with musical theater, with pop, with country, with classic rock and whatnot. So it's there's so much to mine there that's what keeps it fresh to me, because you're always switching genres. So any show that I do typically has some kind of thread of somebody that does multiple things as opposed to one thing. I did do a Rogers and Hart show a while back at 54 Below, but that kept it fresh because the lyrics, even though some of those songs are almost 100 years old, the lyrics are so modern, contemporary, and real that's when you're saying something like truthful and honest to an audience, and you feel like you're connecting them.
Keeping it truth and fresh and honest, I think, is really the most important and most vital. What advice would you give for those who are wanting to book their own show at venues? I know this is something that's becoming very popular, especially in this sort of post-lockdown world. Artists are starting to make their own shows, create their own work, and wanting to book themselves at venues, be it a 54 Below or 342. And you are obviously the pro at this. You've done so many. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned, and what is the advice that you would offer to people, especially those who are just starting out?
I would say definitely find a musical director or pianist that you feel really comfortable with, that you feel is almost like your friend, and somebody that you can go over to their apartment and kind of go over songs and throw out ideas, and you don't feel stupid saying something, or like maybe we mash these two songs together, and really come up with an idea and find something you're really passionate about, whether it be like a through line of like your life, whether it be a composer, whether it be like a performer that like a Linda Ronstadt or a Judy Collins, and then start putting the show together and why you want to tell it and why you're trying to connect to it, and then really put it together with that person and kind of create that partnership and put the show together. And then once you have something, it doesn't have to be perfect, but once you have something relatively in like a decent place, especially if it's your first one, then I would say then after you have something in a decent place, put together like a one-sheet press release of like what the show is, who's in it, what's it about, who it appeals to, and then have all of that ready, and then maybe have a few pictures, like professional pictures, and then it's easy to search online on these venues' websites and whatnot, who the booking person is or the marketing director, and put together an email of like who the show's for, why their audience would be interested in the show, what you're gonna be doing, how you can bring people in. Maybe like this is your first show, so you're able to bring a bunch of people to the show because the venue cares about like selling tickets, selling drinks. So like appeal to that, and have a show ready because they might say like, we have an opening if you want to do something on like May 5th. And you don't really want to be scrambling. You want to bring your best self forward. So try to put a show together. Find something that you like. Put together a one sheet of what your show's about, who you're trying to connect with, what the audience is, and then just start emailing these marketing directors, these booking people from the website. And more often than not, if you put a compelling case there, you're going to want to book your show.
That's exciting to hear. And I feel like, well, I should say, do you feel like your time in advertising has helped you step on that sort of booking and putting yourself out there and helping you to get sort of to this next level, like having that experience from what you see in your time in advertising?
Definitely. I think
that's what it is about. It is about marketing yourself and advertising, to get out there.
That's what it's all about. So I think it's like what I've learned from like marketing and advertising is that like anybody can basically do anything. Like if you want to like advertise in the New York Times, if you have the money or the time to do it, you can. Like so it's like I think some people can just get really intimidated about like these venues and like why would they want to hear from me or like what would they want to like whatever. But it's like if you're willing to like put the work in to like put a show together and put some compelling copy together, which is important, about what your show's about, why you're doing it, who the audience is, and you are, like kind of relentless in trying to get people to book your show. It's like, I think that's what it's all about because it does seem really intimidating to advertise yourself, market yourself, go to a venue, but really it's like something that like anyone can do. It just is like, it's just whether like you're right for that venue, whether your show is ready, whether you're, how you're, like you said, like how you're marketing, how you're selling yourself. I think it's like, it seems more intimidating than it is. You kind of just have to throw yourself out there and you'd be like amazed at like some of the responses you get, honestly.
I'm sure. And so for those of you here and for those of you at home, if you have a show or, if you're a performer, I highly recommend that you take Travis's advice. I mean, he is the pro. He's been doing this for years and has, played pretty much every big venue here. Cafe Carlisle, I know is coming in the future. I'm putting a good juju out there. So take it from him and, put it out there. You never know what's going to happen. But before we continue, I would love to do a trivia question first. And this is going to be for a pair of tickets to The Little Prince. I have the paper right here. So I'm going to say this trivia question. And if you get it right, you have you raise your hand, and if you get it right, I'll give you this voucher for The Little Prince. It's for 2 tickets, and the rules are on here as far as when you can use it. Just give me your email, and I will send you the link to actually click on it. This is just so you have the voucher in your hand. We're going to do a trivia question first. So this is for, again, 2 tickets to The Little Prince on Broadway. Again, thank you to The Little Prince on Broadway. All right. So, and you're welcome to play too if you'd like. You don't have to. It's not required, I guess, but I would say you're welcome to. This upcoming new Broadway musical is one of a handful of a few musicals to win the Pulitzer Prize. What musical is it? It's a musical that's opening in the coming days, and
A Strange Loop.
Strange Loop! Yes, it is! Yes! A round of applause, round of applause. Here you go. Give a round of applause for Miles. Clap, clap, clap. Yes. Congratulations, Miles. That is for 2 tickets for The Little Prince, and I have your email, so I'll shoot you the link so you can book them. So congratulations. Very exciting. Well, Travis, I know you're performing for us tonight, so why don't you tell us what you're going to be performing and give us a little something.
Sure. So this is from my Sondheim album. This is from So Many People, the Sondheim Sessions, which is available on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you can purchase or download music. And this is What Can You Lose from Dick Tracy, which originally performed in a movie by Mandy Patinkin and Madonna, of all people. So this is a solo version of that song, and this was, even from a young age, this was one of my favorite songs from the movie. So, and this is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, fabulous. So you can use the microphone, you don't have to, whatever you want, but here we go, take it away.
What can I keep concealing everything you're feeling? Say it to him. What can you lose? Maybe it shows he's had clues which he chose to ignore. Maybe though he knows and just wants to go on as before. As a friend, nothing more. So he closes the door. Well, if he does, those are the truths. Once the words are spoken, something may be broken. Still you love him, what can you lose? But what if he goes? At least now you have part of him. What if he had to choose? Hold it all there. Better above, don't even begin with so much to win. There's too much to lose. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Travis! That was incredible.
Thank you.
Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful. You can hold on to that. This whole thing, you can hear me without the mic. So
Great.
you need the mic. That was beautiful, Travis. That was
Thank
incredible. Now, Dick Tracy, you said that's a movie or a musical? I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So basically, like, it's like I want to say like around the early '90s, like maybe 1990. So it was a movie version of like the comic strip of Dick Tracy, and Warren Beatty, Madonna, Al Pacino. It's actually one of like Madonna's best performances, I think. But and Stephen Sondheim did the score for the movie, and he Sooner or Later is from Dick Tracy, and What Can You Lose that I just sang, and Back in Business, and he was nominated for, I think he won. Mike, did he win the Oscar?
Yeah.
So he won. He did. So he won the Oscar for Sooner or Later from Dick Tracy, and Madonna performed it live in the Oscars. That's an amazing YouTube clip if you haven't seen that, and it's a really fun movie.
Yeah, sounds like
yeah, it's really cool.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I can't believe it. I had somebody a few weeks ago at my show perform the same song. Beautiful. It never gets old, but like I couldn't believe I had never heard of it.
So great.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Beautiful. I see we have two people joining us. What's your name?
My name is Pedro.
Hi, Pedro. And your name?
Heavy.
Do you live in the city or are you visiting?
Visiting.
From where?
Colombia.
Columbia.
Wow.
Well, welcome to New York. Welcome. This is the Broadway Talk Show. Welcome, welcome. So, Travis, what is it about the famous composers and singers that you love the most performing? I mean, especially Rodgers and Hart, Linda Ronstadt. What tickles you about doing with them, about doing their songs? I mean, is it you have to love the music? Do you fall in love with the composer? What tickles you about doing this show based on the composer?
I think for me, like mostly it comes from a place of like the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to like obviously I have to like the music, but like I think like I'm, you know, when there's a composer of lyricists that's like too flowery with language and whatnot, it's like to me that isn't what strikes me. It's like getting to like the heart of like the matter, for like back or a better phrase, but it's like something that within me connects or an experience that I went through that the song can say it better than I could, and I think that's what draws me to like a lot of these songs, like the Linda Ronstadt songs, the Rodgers and Hart songs, and the Judy Collins songs that she chooses, is like that core of wanting someone to understand you and singing those songs and telling a story and being real and open and honest. It's not about like the most beautiful language, it's about being like open and honest, like I said before.
I don't know if you touched on it with the upcoming show at the Judy Collins show. Where can we get tickets for that?
So you can go to City Winery's website.
Okay.
So, City Winery has locations all over the country.
Yes.
They're an amazing concert venue. If you haven't been there, it's phenomenal. They have two spaces at the New York City location. One's called the Loft, one's the main stage.
Okay.
And they get anyone from City Winery gets anyone from recently from Dionne Warwick to Melissa Etheridge to Sandra Bernhard.
Okay. John Mulaney.
Yeah, exactly. And Rufus Wainwright's doing his Judy Garland show there in June. But like, so it's an amazing venue, and you can go to their website citywinery.com and get tickets and see what else they're doing because they're pretty amazing.
And is there any sort of minimums or anything?
I don't think there is.
Okay.
Actually, I think that's the thing that makes it interesting about City Winery that I love is that you pay for your ticket, and of course they have amazing drinks and amazing food, but I don't believe that there's a minimum. So it's basically like buying a concert ticket, but instead of having like hot dogs and Diet Coke, you can get like select wine and select food, like from their kitchen and whatnot. So it's very affordable. You know, sometimes even though I love cabaret and some of these venues, it can be extremely expensive to go to some of these things. At City Winery, depending on what artist you pick, you're basically buying the ticket, and then it's up to you what you want to, what kind of, if you want to get a glass of wine or food or something. So yeah, it's an affordable way to see an amazing people. And with my show, you could see like Judy K for like $20. So yeah.
Well, and affordable is important. I was just having this conversation the other day with someone about the fact that these cabaret venues, it's tough. You want to go out and support and see people, but then there's a food and drink minimum and this minimum and that minimum, and it's $25, $30, $50, and then you're paying a ticket, and not that the show.
You can never do $20. You can never hit $25.
No, exactly, and it's always over that, and it's tough because especially a lot of people who shows with the artistic creative types, and money doesn't grow on trees for a lot of us, and so I like that there are venues like this that are a little more lax than not. Like I love the green.
I do too.
Food or drink that love the green before you too.
I love that. That's one of my favorite venues to do, just because it's like great sound, great room,
Yeah.
like all of that. But like you said, like there's no minimum. It just I think it should like cabaret to me should be like a more affordable art form. It's a way to see like people in an intimate setting, and I feel like you know, like I mean it's great to see things at all the venues, but you know there is something to be said about it being like accessible.
Of course.
Which is what got me into this to begin with. So.
Well, yeah, that's important. Accessible, especially in today's world, very important. Speaking of performing, now that Broadway's been back almost 6-7 months, has there been any shows that you've seen recently? Any ones that you really love or you're looking forward to?
So one of the ones that I was working on at Spotco, I was working on Is This a Room? And so I saw that I think like the invited dress, and that was the first thing I saw after the lockdown. That was in like what, June or July.
Yeah.
But or maybe August. So that was the first thing I saw. But the thing that really blew me away and really made me feel like Broadway was like really back was the revival film. Yeah, which is like really great. And you know, obviously like seeing Patti LuPone in a Sondheim show and you know after the shutdown was like amazing. And like that show to me, like every part of it really like made me feel like I felt like really excited for like the first time in a while. And yeah, to me that was like incredible.
Did you go to the reopening night for
I did not. We had tickets like before the shutdown.
Okay.
And the night of the shutdown, what was that, like March 13th or whatever it was on Friday? I had tickets to Girl from the North Country. And we had tickets to Company like the next night or a couple nights later. And then so like, you know, it kept getting put off. So like that, and we saw like a couple, what else have I seen recently? I've seen a lot of, we just saw Betty Buckley at Joe's Pub. Yeah, and she was phenomenal. And but yeah, I love Broadway, but there's nothing like seeing, you know, something in a cabaret venue like a Joe's Pub or a 54 Below or a Green Ridge or City Winery, because you can't really, like, there's nothing like Broadway, but you can see a national tour at a theater that's similar to a Broadway show. There is very few things that mimic the cabaret experience unless you're in New York, Chicago, LA. So it's something you really can't get anywhere except for New York. So yeah.
Do you have a sort of dream cabaret show you'd like to see from a star of yours that you really like? Like if somebody you love to do a cabaret show, is there somebody that you're dying to see do it?
I'm trying to think, because I've seen like so many people. Like I really try to get out and see everybody that I see. Like somebody that I love that I wish would be recorded would be Marilyn May. She's absolutely incredible, and she has a lot of recordings from like the 60s, 70s, but she sounds just as good, if not better, than she did back then, and she's 94 years old. And she's absolutely incredible, selling out like 2-week runs at 54 Below.
Yeah.
And I would love to see her do like, you know, her usual songs like from MAME and whatnot, with maybe some contemporary songs. And let's record that and preserve like what's going on there, because there's very few people in the history of the world that sound the way she does in 94. So
That's incredible. Oh my God. Wow. That's 94 and still going. That's incredible. Well, now let's get into some more trivia. This is one of my favorite parts of the night. It's the trivia segment. As mentioned, I'm giving away tickets to The Little Prince, but I also have a surprise for you all too. You may have seen it on social media. I'm also giving away one lifetime membership to Broadway Murder Mysteries. It's a $199 value. They've generously donated a lifetime membership. So basically, this is Broadway Murder Mysteries. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it in person. Have your own Broadway Murder Mysteries night. Everyone is obsessed with like true crime and like everything. So we've got some great prizes here. So to get back to our trivia, this is going to be for another ticket for The Little Prince. What performer has the most Tony Award nominations? What performer has the most Tony Award?
Treasurer Nelson says Jeremy Jordan.
No, not Jeremy Jordan. I wish. What performer has the most Tony Award? One of her most popular works was recently just done on the screen.
Audrey McDonald.
No, she's got the most wins. This woman, what she's known for was recently just done on stage by Ariana, on the screen by Ariana and the Boys. She's worked with Liza Minnelli.
Cheetah Rivera.
Cheetah Rivera, yes, wow. Cheetah Rivera. She has 10 nominations, hasn't won, so 10 nominations. Alrighty, we'll do a few more. Now, this is an interesting one. Who has hosted the most Tony Awards telecasts? What actress has hosted the most Tony Awards telecasts?
I guess.
Yeah.
Is it Angela Lansbury?
It is. It's Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury's hosted a total of 5 Tony Award telecasts. Here you are, my friend.
Amazing.
And this is for the Little Prince, 2 tickets, and I will give you the email later for the link, but this is so you have it.
Amazing.
Very, very exciting. All right, this is going to be for the Broadway Murder Mysteries membership. And those at home, I know Michael's watching the cameras. You can also play along as well, so if you know the answer, type it in, because you can also win this as well. So, recently seen as Diana in Diana the Musical on Broadway, this actress will be starring as Mary Poppins in the upcoming production of Mary Poppins at the Muni in St. Louis. Who is the actress? The actress was recently seen as Diana in Diana the Musical and will be starring as Mary Poppins at the Muni in St. Louis. Anyone? Anyone at home? All right, it's Gina Duvall. Gina Duvall. It's all right. This musical is based on the music from ABBA. This music is based on the music from ABBA. Ran for years. Very popular.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia! That's correct. Here you go. Congratulations. There you go. And Miles, if you don't mind, if you just, because I know he gets to go soon. Jeffrey, if you could just hold up a picture of that, and if you, Miles, if you can get a picture of him, because they do want to see a picture of person 1. You win the lifetime membership, so take a picture of Jeffrey and hold it up, and we'll send that off to the Broadway Murder Mysteries people. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Very excited. I still have 2 tickets left. Which Tony Award? Which actress is tied the most Tony Awards? There's 2 actresses. They're both tied with the most Tony Award wins. Actresses with the most Tony Awards.
Guess.
Yeah.
I think it's Angela Lansbury and
Not Angela Lansbury. No.
She has like 5 Tonys though, right?
Audrey, yes.
Yeah.
Not Angela.
Angela has a handful.
Right, but not the most. Anyone else? It's Audrey McDonald and I believe Julie White, as well. Those 2. So yeah, Angela Lansbury does have quite a few, but not the most, unfortunately. So is there a show coming up that you want to see? All of the shows that are happening?
Let me think. I am, like you mentioned at the beginning, I am excited to see King Boots again because I haven't seen it since its original run. I actually was there opening night, so because it was a Spockner show, yeah. So I think the full of summer I saw it. So what was that?
2013.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see that again. I'd like to see Paradise Square because I haven't seen that yet. I want to see Funny Girl.
Oh yes.
The last time I saw that was there was a national tour that was supposed to go to Broadway with Debbie Gibson as Fanny Burns. So I didn't see that production.
Wow.
So
Was that the Broadway production that was Devon Arrival did end up happening?
Yes. Yeah. So that toured all over the country.
Oh, it toured first.
It toured. Yeah. So it was at every Broadway series. I saw it in Pittsburgh, and then it ended up coming in. But yeah. So I'm very curious to see the first revival of Funny Girl.
Yeah, I'm interested to see as well. Very expensive, but
Yeah.
I hear it's pretty good.
Did you see Music Man?
I did see the Music Man. Yes, I saw the Music Man. Not a fan of the show. I've never seen Hugh or Sutton on stage either together or separate. So I went for them. Managed to get a cheap ticket, and I forgot how boring the show is. It's I'm sorry, it's one of the only shows that I myself perform in both acts. It's just one of the. But I understand why people from older generations like it. A lot of people like it. It just something is great. The view is great. It's a great scenic design, great set, but it just. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it.
No, it's
Because honestly, I've seen Sutton and I love Sutton and everything, but and I've seen many productions of Music Man, but to be honest with you, I think those prices are absolutely astronomical. And unless you can get a cheap ticket, I'm not that obsessed with seeing that production of Music Man.
Yeah. And now that the show is officially open, the tickets are even more expensive. They're over $99 for the cheapest one. They're grossing over $3 million a week, which
Yeah.
outpaces Hamilton. Hamilton is not only, but it's doing $2 million a week.
Yeah.
They used to be doing Hamilton used to be the highest grossing show a week. And,
I'm so surprised to see Hamilton at not 100% attendance.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Now it's-
I mean they're at 99,
Right.
but still it's like I'm used to seeing them at like 105% attendance. Like
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, do you have a dream role that you look to play one day, or that you?
there aren't that many musical theater roles that I think because I like playing myself in my
Right.
solo shows. But if I would play a role, one of my dream roles, one of the only things I'd be actually interested in doing like that would be Leo Frank.
Oh. And what about that role?
I think it's just like just like that character is like so, in real person in real life because it's a real story, is so misunderstood and feels like he's like a Jewish man in a southern town in like the early 1900s, and I feel like I can connect with feeling like kind of like a fish out of water. So it's like that because I feel so connected to that role, and that's a show that I saw the original production at Lincoln Center. Like when I was younger, when we came to trips to New York. So that was a special place in my heart because I felt very fancy to go to Lincoln Center and see, like something that was like a new kind of experimental musical. So it has a special place in my heart, and I feel like connected to that level.
Well, speaking of that, do you remember what your first Broadway show was that you ever saw?
The first Broadway musical I ever saw, the first trip I ever came on, we saw three things. We saw The Life, the original production of The Life. The Last Night of Ballyhoo, which won Best Play that year, and the original production of Chicago.
Oh my God!
So, not the original revival.
The original revival.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you saw a good version of Life because this recent.
Yeah. I saw that one too.
Yes.
But I was so excited to see it because I loved the original production so
Yeah.
much. I love Lily's Way.
I didn't see the original production.
Yeah.
I wish I wanted to, but I.
It was very splashy. It was very
Yes.
different from their live version.
Do you remember who in Chicago? Do you remember who your Roxy and
It was the original cast.
So it was like.
Yeah. It was BB, Joel Gray,
Right, so that's what I meant.
yeah, Ryan King.
Yes.
Yeah. It was the
Original.
original. Yeah.
You do all the originals.
Yeah. But that was the first time I ever came to New York, and I was very, very little. But my parents have always are fans of theater, and
Yeah.
we went to the Broadway series and the CLO in Pittsburgh, and that was my first ever New York trip. So.
Pittsburgh has a lot of good theaters.
They do. Pittsburgh has a lot of. The O'Reilly, the Pittsburgh Public Theater is like a Tony-winning regional theater. They have, when I was growing up, Marvin Hamlish was the conductor for the Pittsburgh Symphony, so he used to get Patti LuPone and Linda Eder, and so there's the Pittsburgh CLO, Pittsburgh Broadway series, the O'Reilly, which is like a Tony-winning regional theater. So there's tons of theater. The Pittsburgh Symphony is amazing. They get amazing concerts and whatnot here. So yeah, Pittsburgh is an amazing place for theater, and they have amazing theater schools. Point Park University, where I went, is one of the top theater schools. Carnegie Mellon's there. Yeah, it's an amazing, and those schools have amazing productions as well. So yeah, it's an amazing theater.
I love that. So we're going to do another trivia question. And again, Michael, you can play. Everyone can play if you want. What is currently, and those at home as well, what is currently the longest running American musical? The longest running American musical on Broadway?
Chicago.
Chicago! Yes! Congratulations! Here you go. Tickets to the Little Prince. So you know what's funny? I'm glad you said that because it's a trick question because of how it's like Phantom of the Opera. And for the longest time until about 3 years ago, I thought it was Phantom 2, and on the Chicago Billboard for a while they had longest running American musical. And I took to Facebook and was like, this is false advertising. Phantom's the longest running American musical. And my friend goes, read the words, American musical. And I was like, oh, I see. Phantom is the longest running Broadway musical, but didn't start. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Again, to marketing advertising, how you market yourself, how
and,
you.
and it's clever, and I'm glad you got that because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Phantom of the Opera, but it's the longest running American musical in Chicago, which just celebrated 25 years.
Yeah,
It's incredible. It's really incredible. So before you go on stage for each of your shows, how do you deal with sort of the stage fright or nerves? Do you get nervous now?
I do. I'm it never, to me, it never gets and I think it's important to have a level of like anxiety going on there. Like you want to have like some like nervous energy. I feel like that propels you and really like helps you when you're up there. To me it feels like the minute they call your name, like, you know, ladies and gentlemen, Travis Moser, like it feels like I liken it to like getting on a roller coaster and you cannot get off. There's no getting off of the roller coaster until like the very end. So like even if you're like chickening out or getting scared or getting like feeling insecure, it's like you have to stay on that ride the whole time. So I kind of picture that image of like getting on the roller coaster and like coming into the end. And I always to be perfectly honest, it's like I always have like a whiskey night.
I love it. Love it. And that helps.
That helps. That takes the edge.
I love that.
Because you really have to feel like you know, like your inhibitions have to like kind of go away when you're on stage. Like, especially in cabaret, you're gonna have to like lay yourself bare because like it's there's no artifice, there's no character. So like you have to kind of like you kind of have to be the most authentic you as possible to make it like a good show. So anything you can do to take down those walls.
A good whiskey night.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. And do you have a favorite venue you performed at? I know there's so many. Do you have a favorite venue?
I mean, I like them all for different reasons, but I say one place that I performed a few times that is just like special because it feels very New York and there's a lot of history there is just yeah. Just because the backstage, they have an amazing backstage area with like really big dressing rooms and whatnot, and there's just the history of Joe Path and being in New York, and it just is a really cool. Even the subway that you can hear like rolling by while you're performing. It's
like here, you can hear.
Exactly, yeah. It's the same as Joe's Pop. Like you can hear like the subway rolling by as you're performing, and it just feels like a New York history, and you know so many things like a Chorus Line, Hamilton, everything started in that building. So that place is really fun. I love Green Room 42 for it's one of the most like, I think accessible of the venues in New York. So that one's really fun. And City Winery has some of the best food and drinks. So those places to me. But you know I love People Below. I love all of them for different reasons. They all have their great things. Yeah.
And once again, this is for those of you here at home who didn't know, this is the Broadway Makers Marketplace for fans, by Broadway fans. It has over 40 plus vendors and one of a kind, can't get anywhere else, merchandise, everything from handmade mugs, stickers, blankets, towels, and even memorabilia. So for those of you who love, signed Broadway items, you can see some of this behind me. There's signed playbills, signed posters.
I was getting lost in the playbills.
You're getting lost in there's
like you can get lost here.
And so you can come here anytime. Michael, what are the hours usually?
Currently 11 to 7, soon to be 10 to 8.
11 to 7, soon to be 10 to 8, Monday through
Sunday.
7
days a week.
7 days a week. You come here, we've got some great programming. My show, which officially kicks off on Sunday, but we have a podcast, Joshua Turchin, the early night show with Joshua Turchin. There's Broadway coloring, Broadway karaoke, we do a Broadway music bingo. It is the place to be. If you're in New York and you're familiar with the area, we're at you can enter at West 57th and 8th Ave, right by the TJ Maxx. For those of you who may not be familiar, just look at the Turnstyle Underground Market at Columbus Circle and you'll see us here. And you can't miss us. It is a great place, and we've had some awesome Broadway people come in and enjoy the place and hang out. It's a place to be. So, Travis, as we get ready to close out, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you'd like to mention? I want to make sure I touched on everything.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit everything. It's just like, check me out on Apple Music, Spotify. My website is travismoser.com. My City Winery show is August 22nd at 7:30. Just check me out on Instagram, on wherever you...
What's the social?
It's at Trav James on Instagram, TJ Moser on Twitter, and then you can find me on Facebook with my name. So, yeah.
Love that. So follow you all across that. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to Miles as well, my incredible accompanist. And I want to give a big thank you and a round of applause for Broadway Makers Marketplace for Michael. So wonderful. Keeps this shop alive and moving and all this awesome programming. I'm so thankful to have the Broadway Makers Marketplace here as my new home for Live with Rye Friends on Broadway. Thank you to our sponsor, the Little Prince, who sponsored tonight's show, provided tickets for everyone here, for those who won, and for Broadway Murder Mysteries as well. Big lead marketing, thank you so much. And I will see you all on Sunday for the kickoff of Live with Rye Friends on Broadway, starting here probably about 6:30 on Sunday. My special guest is Joshua Turchin, who, as I mentioned earlier, has his podcast here, the Early Night Show. Joshua Turchin, if you don't know who he is, you have to follow him. And he has written a full-length musical. He's been off Broadway. He is a true, as I say to people, true child prodigy, and there is nothing that this kid cannot do. So I'm so excited to have him on my show. So, Travis, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. You really do have to check out this Broadway Makers Marketplace. It's like if you're a Broadway fan,
Yeah.
this is the place to come in. Go get the dumplings that are down there.
I love it. And as Michael has said, he's made it, and I love it because it's so true, that this is the place that's made it that people wish, like Michael said, you wish they had this place when you were growing up. And that's what this is. This is the place
Would
that
you-
you never...
This is like, now that like Colony and places like that don't exist anymore,
Right.
this is one of those few places that actually you can see Broadway memorabilia and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really great. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Well, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much. Woo! Woo!
Okay, do you want a picture of you and
Where can you see Broadway's brightest light?